Well, hello, and welcome to Reimagining Education, a podcast from Michigan International Prep School. I'm your host, Eric Van Houten, and today with me is Mrs. Jolie Van Wert. How are you doing today?
Good. Hi, Eric. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. So like most, I know a lot of the guests that we have on here, I know you particularly well because Jolie is a mentor just like me here at MIPS, but before that was a parent. Right, a parent of MIPS students. I've had the privilege to be the mentor of your oldest son and your oldest daughter for over a year now.
Yep.
And it was really cool to see you go from excited parent to having a bunch of cool ideas and support for your parents or your students. And then now you're here doing what I do, using all those skills and excitement for students that are in the same situation as your kids. So that's why we're here today. I know you have a lot that you are excited about, you love about MIPS, and that you want to talk about. But today we're going to focus mostly on the parent side of it, right? We got you here because you are a parent right in the thick of everything. No one's going to be surprised when we say we've had a kind of difficult start to the school year, right? We have had program issues was 90% of it, right? Mm-hmm. We switched programs, and then we had hundreds of enrollees and not enough people right away to get all those people enrolled right away. But we're in a really good spot now. But you've been in the thick of the delays and the frustrations, but also the joys and the excitement of what comes along here. So that was a really long preface. But you're a parent. We're going to talk about what it's like to be a parent and what we can do for our kids in that way. So I'll start this way. How did you come to MIPS? What led you to get your kids here?
Okay. Well, first of all, I get to experience the mentor side of things and the parent side of things at the same time because 3 of my kids are still enrolled at MIPS.
Yeah.
So to see it from the inside view, I guess, per se, of the things and the hoops that mentors and our staff and our directors are all jumping through in order to take care of the students. As a parent, I had no clue. Yeah. I was oblivious to the things that they had to do. So I just want to give huge props, first of all, to everybody on the inside. I had no clue. And it's such a fun story from how I got to MIPS. So when I was a high school student, I hated being in class. I didn't want to go to school, and I skipped a lot of school. Yep. And I just didn't like being in the classroom. I thought that I could learn it better on my own time. So I always told myself, even before I met my husband, we had children, that I wanted to homeschool. And so when my kids came around, we homeschooled them. We homeschooled my oldest up until 7th grade, and the other ones just fell along in suit. So once my husband lost his job during that wonky recession time, and we couldn't afford to keep paying for homeschooling because homeschooling is expensive. Yeah. And so from there, we were searching for something that wouldn't put my kids in the brick and mortar schools because I still had a bad taste in my mouth, and it was just me. And I liked having them home. It was a personal thing. And so we started searching around. We found this too good to be true virtual school, and it was amazing, but it turned out to actually be too good to be true, and they had to shut down. So I had a really bad taste in my mouth after that for virtual schools because I didn't want that to happen again. I did not want the inconsistency for my kids. Yeah. So when we came and we found MIPS, it was a week after school had already begun. And it just kind of showed up. We saw some promotions from Mr. Pellis. And from there, I started to create a very specific checklist of all the things that the school had to be able to accomplish for me in order for me to think of it as a success. From there, I put in one of my children as kind of a guinea pig. So MIPS has hit everything on the checklist and then some. So the following year, I put my older 2 in. There was a lot more to lose if it didn't work, but MIPS had proven themselves to me at that point. And from there, I think I just threw all of my eggs into the MIPS basket because I just love this program so much. Every year, things get better. Every year we add so much to the plate of options, of freedom of choice, and really make MIPS the school of one that they promote themselves to be.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
And of all my students, I would say your family is like the number one fan of MIPS, right?
We really are.
It started working and then we went full force, and now a year later you're working here. So
It's really funny because MIPS really can become that village that you're looking for. Because, like, for me, I was the homeschooling mom, and then MIPS covered a lot of those gaps for me. And so when COVID hit, I took it upon myself from a lot of the teachers at MIPS and you to encourage me. I went back to school, I got my degree, and was able to come and start working at MIPS. And I never would have originally thought that that would be my path, but MIPS really did help me make the decision that not only as a parent, I wanted to be more involved as a mentor.
I love that. Who doesn't want their kids at a school that makes them want to work at the school, right? I love that. So I think it's worth noting to those listening too, just so they know kind of where you're coming at. What grades are your kids in?
Okay, so I have a 10th grade young man who's also dual enrolling, and he also is in his second year of guitar lessons. Mr. Card is amazing, and he really, really customizes and caters to each student in such a way that I've never seen in a program before. Yeah. I also have a 7th grade daughter. She is taking piano lessons this year. She hates math. Like, she really, really hates math. And the steps and the things that Mrs. Van Eck and I think her name's Ashley
Murphy
yeah.
Yep.
have worked on to be able to accommodate her. She doesn't have any like learning disabilities or anything. She's just really bad at math. But they still they accommodate her, and they do everything they can to make her feel confident and make her successful. And I just haven't seen that anywhere else. Yeah. And then I also have a 7-year-old who was my original guinea pig with MIPS. He started at 5 in first grade. We were like, we're going to put him in the kindergarten program. It'll be great. And then he was bored out of his mind because it was easy. Yeah. And they bumped him up. They accommodated him based on his MWA scores. They bumped him up to first grade. He did amazing. And so we've just been going from there. So he's in 3rd grade this year, even though he's only 7. He loves the program. Every teacher, every year, he cries at the end of the year because he doesn't want to leave the teacher. Yeah. And we go on to the next year, and it happens all over again. So this will be his 3rd year at MIPS. And I don't think he will ever imagine wanting to be anywhere else. Yeah.
I love that. So, if you're listening and being like, well, is this relevant to me, right? You've got a grade schooler, you got a middle schooler, and you got a high schooler. So you got a kid everywhere.
And I have a 3-year-old terror that destroys the house while we're all working.
I love it. So you touched on a lot of this, but I'm curious, if we distill it down, how has your experience as a parent been? Like, what would you want people to know about being a parent at MIPS?
I love the balance of communication. So when we were homeschooling, we were an island unto ourselves. And the only person I had to communicate with was me and my children. And I knew everything that was going on. And so I felt the need to hold all the cards close to my chest and very micromanage my children, because that's what you do. And so when I came to MIPS, having a teammate with the mentor, with the teachers, gave me a new realm. And my children have never experienced a brick and mortar classroom. So trying to figure out how the balance works with a teacher and the parent, I felt like I wasn't going to be confident on the communication aspect of how it looked. And I've never, ever had an issue at MIPS with communication. I mean, you always get back to me right away. Anytime I contact a teacher, they're connecting with me very quickly. Yeah. And so as a parent, it's really comforting to know that even though mentors may have a lot of things to do, which I'm learning now, they do really prioritize every kid. Like, we really do try to make it a school of one where every student feels like they're a priority. And I've really loved that, because as a parent, your kid is your top priority.
Yeah.
They are the only student, and being able to see that the mentors and the teachers feel that way too is something that I, as a parent, really valued.
I love that. And, we have this behind us. I don't know where initially it was set up or all that, but one thing that we're really passionate about, and I think parents should see everywhere, is the phrase "your neighborhood school online," because we are kind of just like, we're a community, right? We're a school of one, but we also want to know everybody, right?
Right.
As a parent, you have access to teachers, you have access to the mentor. You can even call our superintendent. I know that you sent him an email, right, when you were a parent, about things that you were excited about, where you can just, call your neighbor and see what's up, right? So I don't know exactly where I was going with that, other than like, that's what you were reminding me of, even the school of one, that we are a neighborhood school online.
And something I saw even from this past year and change was that MIPS takes, like the staff and the directors take parent recommendations very seriously.
Yeah.
So during the COVID years, there was a lot of isolation for many students. And when parents started bringing those concerns that my kids are in asynchronous classes, they don't have the opportunities to interact with their friends, we took that suggestion, I guess, and ran with it. And we added all the live arts classes. We added clubs. We added a gaming club. We created a fill for the need that was presented to us. And I think that that's so valuable to see that when you have concerns and you know where to bring them, they will be addressed and they will be taken care of and they will be acknowledged.
Yeah.
And as a parent, that's really comforting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think Mr. Pellis, when we talked about pathways, he mentioned that too, of, if we have one student who says, I want to become a realtor, I don't know how. Well, a year later, we have a pathway with classes and certifications so that kid can graduate high school with a realtor's license, right? So you mentioned a couple of those too in Gaming Club of, even if it's one kid, we look and we say, okay, can we make this happen?
Yep.
So I love that. I love that. So
Yeah.
These are all open-ended, right? But the things that we had prepared, one thing, what parents can be excited about, what your experience has been, what kind of can parents expect as far as what makes MIPS more extraordinary and unique? I'm trying to make this, a kind of a different route than that too, but why do you stay at MIPS aside from, your relationship with the teachers and as a mentor and stuff?
Well, I have to say,
if that made sense.
Yeah, I have to say, I have totally looked around. Like, there's new virtual schools popping up everywhere.
All the time. Yeah.
All the time. And I always want to know, okay, what makes that one different? And every time I start researching and looking into it, I always just come back to MIPS because it's tried and it's true. It's proven itself to me over and over. The people really do make up the school because it wouldn't be what it is without that village of the staff. Yeah. And coming back to your emailing Mr. Halbert question, he's such a down-to-earth guy. I haven't gotten to like really talk to him like one-on-one personally or anything, but in meetings and conversations that we've had, I've gotten to see such a genuine compassion from him and the other staff members that it really did sell me on top of everything else to see that he really has such a compassion for the kids, that he wants to serve families in a way that I haven't previously seen. And he just, he wants to help. And his goals of everything and everyone matters is so important to me because I haven't seen that anywhere else. Yeah. And talking to Stephanie at some of our open houses that we've had, seeing how diligently she searches for curriculum that checks off all of her boxes, and she won't just accept anything because there's a lot of stuff out there and it's not all what it needs to be. Yeah. It just to see the combination of expectation and excellence mixed with care and compassion.
Yeah.
And a lot of places you can get more of one or more of the other.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen anywhere that has both in such high levels.
Yeah, I love that. And I don't know why this is the first thing that came to my mind, but we talk a lot about academic success and emotional well-being and how the mentor and other people walk alongside the student and really do whatever that student needs, right? Whatever needs to happen. But I think too little we talk about how we care just as much about the family, which is what I'm hearing from you, right? Is we're here for the student, but we're not here just for the student, right? If you were to call me as a parent, you're a mentor now too, and say, I'm having this issue, we can talk about home life and how to deal with issues at home, as well as talking about, what math problems they're struggling with or things like that. So is that correct? Like, am I accurate there?
Yeah. I think we have something set up this year for like getting counseling or getting support outside of school. I can't remember the name of it.
I don't remember what it's called either.
Wellspring.
Oh yeah, Wellspring Lutheran Services.
Yes,
yeah, we're
okay.
actually having them on in a couple of weeks here on the podcast. Yeah, yeah.
Check that one out.
Yep.
I just being able to make sure that, like, okay, I've called you and been like, Silas can't do this, and you've had to fix it. And my son, he likes to work at all hours of the night, the strangest times. And he'll be like 11:30 at night, and I'm like, go to bed. And he'll be like, oh, but this isn't working. I have to call Eric. And I'm like, don't call him. You wait till you get up in the morning. But it does take care of the whole family. That's the goal. So you have a student at MIPS, you're part of the village, and we want to make sure that you feel as well prepared and supported. It's such a teamwork between student, parent, and mentor and teachers. Yeah. And when we have the whole package, a student can't fail. So I guess one of my big suggestions out there for parents like me who are in the middle of this craziness, we felt like we started late. We felt like we're already behind, but we're not. And you're seeing other kids with their back to school pictures on Facebook, and your kids are staring at a blank computer screen. I was there. I was trying to work, and my kids are banging down the door. Mom, there's still not classes. Yeah. And my first immediate response is, have you talked to your mentor? Stay in communication with your mentor. As a parent, have your kids stay in communication with your mentor. They may not have all the answers, but they're going to go to bat to find them for you. And that's something that's just so valuable to me. I like the personalization of communication. We don't consistently we consistently get group emails, of course, but at the same time, you don't only receive this is what everybody else is getting. Yeah. We get that one-on-one care and attention. Yeah. And that's really valuable.
Yeah. I love that. Is there any other little snippets of advice or encouragement or anything that you would want other parents to know?
Check your kids' emails.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
I have my kids' emails set up on my phone so that every time they get an email, I see it. I don't go in and scan through everything. But for instance, funny story, I was in the mentor meeting and one of the mentors brought up, hey, one of my students is starting dual enrollment tomorrow. Is there anything I need to know? And I had to holler down the hall to my son, you know that you start college tomorrow, right? And he's like, oh, I guess I didn't check my emails.
Oh my goodness.
So
it should go more than that, right? Not just check your students' emails, but make sure your student is checking his or her email every day.
Every day. I had a student ask me, do I have to check it on Sundays? No, you have Sundays off. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's a school day, please check the way that your teachers communicate with you.
Yes. And also ask your kids what they're learning. So studies have shown that we can study all day and it doesn't necessarily stay in our brain until we can teach somebody else what we've learned. So at the dinner table, or in my case, while you're taking your your kids to all of their multiple practices to different things. Ask them to explain to you what they're learning. I can guarantee you that it will cement in their head better. They'll get better test scores because of it, and they'll feel more confident that they're remembering what they're learning if you ask them about it. And also help them make a schedule, because on the mentor side of things, we can create schedules all day with our students, but we also can't climb through the computer and make them do it. So as a parent, I give my kids, my 10th grader this year has insisted he's going to do it on his own, but my 7th grader and my 3rd grader, they have a schedule, and I pop in and I check in. I say, this is on your schedule. What are you working on? And if that's not what they're working on, we get to have a discussion.
Yeah.
But having a schedule in front of them just creates so much more productivity. It helps them get a lot more done. It helps them feel more confident because they know what to expect every day. And for us, we have a rotating schedule because if my daughter has to wake up every morning and do math, she's gonna rebel. So we rotate through and we add the things that she loves and we balance. And being the parent end of that, making sure that my kids feel confident, I think it makes your job a little easier.
Yeah.
So I really like making sure that that side of it's taken care of from my end, because I'm the one that can walk in their room and say, what are you working on?
Yeah.
And you can't, you know.
Yeah, I'll text them all day long, but if they don't want to text me back, I can't get anything. So
Yeah.
I love that. That's so cool.
Definitely.
I don't want to cut you off for more. Other advice or encouragement?
I guess my encouragement to parents is that every new thing has a learning curve. And the learning curve to MIPS isn't huge, but stepping into it, especially when it's something that you've never done before, it can be daunting. So looking at the different platforms, where do I go to find this? Who am I supposed to talk to about this? If you feel overwhelmed, your student's going to feel overwhelmed. And that's where your mentors come to play. Contact your mentor. They will walk you through that process. I mean, if they walk you through the process for 15 times, they might get a little short, but they are happy to walk you through that process over and over and over again to make you feel confident. I always tell my mentees that my job as your mentor is to be your cheerleader, your biggest fan, and your tour guide. So anytime you see a bump in your path that you don't feel like you can surmount, don't keep bumping your head up against it, hoping that it'll move. Call your mentor, because they have the skills and the tools to be able to level the path for you.
Yeah, I love that. And here's the way I think about it too, right? I've been a mentor for a while, and you started a couple months ago now.
Yeah.
And I can say that these weeks where we are working all day, all throughout the week, and it's incredibly stressful to get the school year started, right? I can tell you that soon, and for the next 8-10 months, right, we're going to find that groove, right? And we're going to get to a place that we want to be as an organization and as mentors, right? And you're saying, as a parent, that there's a learning curve, but you're going to find your groove, and your student is going to thrive here.
Yep.
Is that accurate?
I
always got to ask,
that's
right?
totally true. I mean, even when my kids first jumped on and it was all new to me, I remember I'll finish that thought. I remember just being so overwhelmed. Or the first time my son got, I think it was it felt like 15 packages, but I might be exaggerating. It's been a little while. These big boxes coming in the mail from Lincoln, because that's our learning platform for elementary school. And it has all of the tools. And I was so excited. It was like Christmas morning to him. And I was opening these boxes going, what did I get myself into? Yeah. And it was overwhelming. I remember leaving everything in their boxes for a few days because I was like, I don't even know what to do with all of this. I don't have space for this. I'm not prepared. I felt very inadequate. And I'd been homeschooling for years before that. So it was a learning curve.
Yeah.
You get in the system, you see how it is, you talk to your mentor, and the cycle just happens so fast once you have a tour guide. So I just have to say, when you reach out, it really does make something that feels overwhelming feel less overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So here's something, and I found out, or I realized this a little late, right? all of last year, we had a staff meeting every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. ish, right? And then we'd have we'd have a lot of staff meetings, right, to figure out how to do things better. But every 8 a.m. on a Wednesday, all the staff were together, and Drew Hobart, our superintendent, would say, all right, I want to hear 2 to 3 wins from this past week. And those could be stories of academic success or turning around, or hey, my student rarely talked to me, and when we did, he'd never have his camera on and he showed his face to the first time, or hey, Mr. Dean helped me out with one of my students really well, and I'm so thankful for him, or something like that. We call those wins, right? So I want to ask you, maybe the first time that you've done that here at MIPS, what is a win that you have seen or experienced recently?
There's so many. As a parent, one of the wins I've seen is the excitement that my kids had for coming back to school this year. Getting to see my daughter thrive in the arts program is a huge win, because she wanted to go to a brick and mortar this year because she wanted a theater program.
Mm-hmm.
And when the theater program was offered virtually, I was like, "Mwahaha, I get to keep you home."
There we go.
At least one more year, and we'll talk about it again next year, and I'll probably still push it because I love MIPS. So my son, he loves making new relationships, making connections with people, and being able to make relationships with kids across the state, and through guitar, and bonding through gaming, and getting to meet Clayton with the gaming club, and getting esports rolling. Those are all things that have really been able to open up new experiences for him that I don't know if he would have been able to have otherwise. And so those are some wins. As a mentor, being able to see light bulbs go off for students as they start getting into classes. And
go off or on?
Off, like go blink, like clink.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Light
that
bulbs
makes sense.
click on. Sorry, like
the light goes on, but it's like it's going off. Something's working. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I might have messed up that analogy.
No, you're good.
Yeah, seeing those light bulbs for students when they start getting it is so exciting, and bonding with students. So I have a student that's doing that does theater in her local area, and she's in Moana this weekend. And I told her, I'm like, take pictures, I want to see.
Yeah.
So being able to make those connections, I feel like as the year progresses, I'm just going to kind of like hoard my mentees and mother them, because I care about them so much already. And we've barely just begun the year. That's a win for me, because I'm just so excited to be able to cheer them on and see them just thrive at MIPS. And I know that there's a lot of reasons people have joined MIPS this year. Some people join because a normal school doesn't work out for them academically. Some want to pursue learning at a quicker rate. Some have medical issues that cause schools to be really challenging, or some are still very uncomfortable with COVID. And this might be just in the middle of until they can get back to brick and mortar. And it's just an interim. But I just want to encourage that if this is working, keep it, because when I started, it was just okay, we have to start something, and we have to go to school somewhere. We have to have something for you. Yeah. And I kind of fell all the way into the deep end. So it can happen that way. Don't hold out. If make MIPS work for you, because they will. Yeah. And the more you reach out, the more you connect, the more you use the system as it's intended, it's going to work. I mean, we wouldn't have kept the things the way they are, and we wouldn't have added the things we did if they weren't working, right?
Yeah, and that's what everyone here at MIPS, especially the staff, believes, is that we're not just an interim school. We're not just a substitute, but we think with evidence, with some proof that we're the best option for many students out there. So
I totally 100% agree. It's the best option for my kids.
There we go. If that's not encouragement for parents, then I don't know what is. So, Jolie, thank you so much for being here. Whether it's as a mentor or a parent, we'll have to have you on again. Just thank you for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Eric. I was really excited to come, and I'm so excited to see what this year has. I'm cheering on the arts department as they set up all of these new programs. It's going to be such a fun year.
Awesome. Thanks again.
Thank you.
If you're interested in enrollment, or you just want to get to know us and what we do a little bit better, head over to our website at miprepschool.org. That's miprepschool.org. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We will talk to you soon.